The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, good morning, everybody. We want to welcome you to our webinar today. Our host is going to be Jeff Pergalski. He is a member of our team here at ABC Computers. Jeff joined ABC as a network engineer in 2008 with 17 years of small business management experience and a passion for technology. He possesses multiple IT certifications across a wide range of solutions, including HDI Support Center Analyst, and he holds 14 different Microsoft certifications, from Enterprise Admin to SQL Server Database Administrator. He is one of the certified licensing specialists at ABC and enjoys helping companies find IT solutions that make their users more efficient, productive, and powerful. With that, Jeff, I'll turn it over to you.
All right, thank you, Abby. As most of our webinars go, Abby will be monitoring the question queue so that if anything comes up, I believe everyone is in listen-only mode. So if you have questions, either type them into the chat screen or raise your hand, and we'll open up mics at the end in case people have questions. So basically, I think what I'm hoping to accomplish today here is just show you some of the latest and greatest tools that NAV 2015 gives you and your users. And for people that are considering a NAV 2015 upgrade, for others that are evaluating NAV as a potential ERP solution, this is going to be just a very high level. And we're going to just, I think I'm going to go in and show you a couple client options because as the description stated, people are using all kinds of different devices. The old cliche of a server in the server room and some desktop computers is, now become the minority of how most people utilize IT in their environments. People are bringing in their iPhones, their Android tablets that they got free when they bought a new phone. So we need to figure out ways to connect people to the tools that they need, and Microsoft realized that early on. These solutions that have been recently rolled out in this version have been in the development stages for years, and basically I think what we've got in the NAV 2015 client options is pretty much the tools that any user is going to need to get the most out of this investment. So we will start with I've got a handful of slides, I think just like 10 of them, and then we're going to poke around and see if we can show some of the different client options for NAV 2015. I will disclose that I have not the luck of the Irish going for me, but the luck of the Polish, and I did have some issues this morning, so please bear with me. There's going to be a little bit of clumsiness as I try to switch screens and try to display some stuff remotely from my phone and tablet. So that being said, let's get going. Basically a little bit about ABC Computers, who we are. Excuse me. There we go. IT service company specializing in Dynamics NAV. That is all we do in the ERP side, so we are certainly experts in that. We've been in business over 30 years, 50-plus team members, and 4 locations throughout the Midwest. We've got clients, though, all over the country and actually internationally. So hopefully you all know us. Basically, I think you all know what Dynamics NAV is. Right now, convergence is going on down in Atlanta. We've got a number of our team members down there, a number of our end users as well. A great event. The Microsoft Dynamics NAV has eclipsed 100,000 companies using the product, over 1 million users, end users worldwide. So even though it's the SMB offering for Microsoft's NAV, it's actually seen double-digit growth fairly continuously. So the work that Microsoft is putting in to make this the greatest product it can be, certainly starting to pay dividends, and pay dividends for the end users, I think, and getting the most out of it. So basically, the just kind of a high level what you're getting in the application in terms of functionality, and basically a complete solution that will handle financials all the way through production, invoicing, shipping, quoting. So the whole process of quote to cash and everything you need in between to produce and get it to you in the hands of your end user. From the technology side, all kinds of options, and that's kind of what I'm focusing on today. Different options for deployment and essentially what your end users are going to use to connect to this. So Windows, Azure, web client, the SharePoint client, tablets, and all of that stuff with the ability to integrate through multiple web services, XML, COM to .NET. It's a very robust, flexible package, and can basically do anything you need it to do. And so what we need it to do today is show some options on how we're going to connect to it, how your end users might use it outside of the traditional client. But again, there are options: the Windows client, the web client, SharePoint client, tablet client that I don't have listed on there, and then the deployment options. So you can deploy classical deployment, putting it on a server in your server room, or maybe a virtual server in your server room, or maybe some servers that you rent from somewhere else. Partner hosted, you don't want to maintain the IT, you want to have a partner take care of that for you. That's certainly allowed. And then Microsoft hosted. So in a different way than a lot of hosted applications have come to be known, where you're just subscribing to a service with them, Microsoft gives you the option through their Azure platform of essentially completely offloading your entire IT environment, but still giving you the access and control that you're used to on-premise. So the Microsoft hosted option on Azure is actually what we're using internally at ABC for our own demo environment, and it's I think what we believe is the wave of the future, a robust platform that gives you just what you need, all the benefits of true cloud computing in terms of elasticity, no more buying a huge server, and planning for 3 to 5 years down the road and what your use is going to be. You don't have to overbuy hardware or processing power, etc. Buy what you need right now, scale it up as you add users, scale it down as you become more efficient and need less users, and only pay each month for what you need. So a really great solution that is certainly the way that the industry is going. So to start with, I guess there's a great website, Microsoft.com/Dynamics. There's an upgrade comparison tool that looks at all the different versions of NAV and what you've got right now and what you're entitled to based on the new versions. And I like to put this up there in a lot of my webinars because a lot of times it's difficult to make the case for a substantial upgrade of an application like NAV unless you understand, at a real basic level what you're getting through that. So the this website clicks, maybe we'll, if we've got time, I'll click through that and just show you what it looks like. It's great, and actually if you see the very topmost right here on the first thing that they list is the Dynamics NAV for Tablets client. Obviously only 2015 that supports that. There have been some custom apps that have been written, and certainly you're allowed based on your licensing and expertise, that if you own all the right stuff, you can develop your own tools. We've got some customers that with success stories writing their own mobile integration for parts of NAV, but the full-blown client now being offered by Microsoft is new to 2015. Again, we'll have these slides out in the follow-up recording, so you can get to this website and check it out for yourself. Let's say you're running 2009 Classic client. You want to see, what am I going to gain going to the 2015 upgrade? This will show you exactly that. So basically, I think the biggest, most exciting part of the new client options is the tablet option, and certainly where Apple has taken the lead, offering their iPad that's been around for several years now, has worked its way into the enterprise and is now, I think, a device that you see everywhere, and people want to be able to use that for more than playing Angry Birds or Trivia Crack or whatever it is. They want to be able to do some work on those devices. Came in as really cool kind of entertainment consumption devices, but because of their ubiquity, people want to be able to do work on them. So Microsoft's tablet strategy here, kind of in a real basic graphic here, shows that over on the left in the green, the classic Dynamics NAV for Windows client. That's what everyone has been using for people that are sitting at a computer, at a laptop, a desktop station, doing a lot of intensive work. It supports multiple monitors, multiple windows, launching reports, transacting. So that type of user is going to use primarily a keyboard and a mouse to do their work, and that is the most robust client that they offer. Now, there's also people who use NAV sitting at a laptop. They're not transacting. They're looking at reports. They're answering customer questions. Maybe a laptop is okay for them, and from that standpoint, maybe a web client is all that user needs. That can be, you've got laptops that are both conventional screen and touch enabled. I would say that in general, my experience with touchscreen laptops is that there hasn't been a business case for them to become super popular yet. So in most cases, traditional laptops are what I see, but you've got that occasional user that really likes swiping and typing on a virtual keyboard, etc. So the web client is a hybrid between the tablet client and the classic Windows client. From a strict visual standpoint, it's not significantly different. You can use the web client, works equally well on a touch screen or a conventional screen. It's a matter of the size that the icons are rendered in makes it easier for a finger to make a click rather than a more precise mouse pointer. But again, that's all done on the backside. You don't know the difference, and you can connect to the web client, or you can use the web client equally well with touch or without. And then you get to the far right, that orangish salmon color maybe, that shows that the tablet client is designed around touch. It's touch optimized, so now everything that is happening in that client is designed to be done with fingers and virtual keyboards. And from a usage standpoint, away from the desk is how Microsoft describes the primary use of their tablet client. So on the go, you're on site with a customer, you're at a meeting, at a conference, maybe at Convergence. You won't need to get in and see critical financial numbers or check on something for a client. You want to be able to do that fast on a device that slides inside your pocket potentially, and really gives you access to the information. It doesn't support multiple screens, meaning that when you click to open a report or a list, it will open that list in the tablet client and the web client, and that's all you're going to see. You've got to then close that list to get back to your role center, etc. But that's really an important offering in terms of giving people access to the information. But essentially, it's a somewhat limited feature set. So the NAV tablet client is targeted for users that want access to data from a tablet. Some of the advantages are portability and flexibility when the user is away from the desk, especially. Sometimes that means your users are more productive if they've got a long train ride into the office. They're spending a lot of time traveling, still allows them to get stuff done. Tablet is obviously lighter than a laptop and provides portability. The on-screen keyboard aren't optimum, and certainly not if you're entering in a lot of keyboard input. You're going to prefer not using the tablet client, but the keyboard plays a less central role, and that forces you to consider how touch is going to work with that. So having a Microsoft Dynamics NAV solution that runs on a tablet puts it in the hands of a lot more users, and it's easier to distribute the application. Other advantages are that using a tablet, you can capture data closer to the source. Sometimes that means creating an order, sitting in front of your customer at their desk, not having to have your laptop with the screen up. Some of these small, subtle changes that hopefully, when combined and repeated multiple times, start to make big changes for the better in your organization. Essentially the NAV tablet client and the web client is not designed to replace the full Windows client, but it's just there to offer a touch interface with a limited set of application scenarios. The more complex business processes and the heavier data entry, that's not what the tablet client is designed for, obviously. So when you're looking at the different scenarios, and for those that are considering an upgrade or new to NAV, and you're looking at, it's important to understand how your users, the different scenarios. So do they really need a tablet? Do we need to invest in different hardware to enable these? Can we put some tablets on the shop floor in really rugged cases? Will that save money from specialized equipment that in the past, I know a lot of our customers, their production floor equipment is specialized, heavy duty. They're buying keyboards that need to be waterproof and shockproof, and machines that are running the full-blown NAV client that need SSD drives, and to reduce the moving parts because of the toxic environment that they're operating in. Tablets, whether they be Android or iPad or a Microsoft Surface, have a lot of options that can make it that can give you, through the use of fairly inexpensive cases, can make the same explosion-proof, waterproof, dust-proof environment for your hardware, and maybe that ends up saving a bunch of money, spending $500 on an iPad instead of $1,200 on a specialized PC. Again, the usage scenarios, you really have to think through at the beginning. I think back to 4 or 5 years ago when I was presenting webinars on the use of tablets and the introduction of them into your environment, and we always spoke about the need to really understand the business reason for introducing these new devices. above and beyond the fact that they were cool. And that's still, that certainly holds true in terms of introducing a tablet into your NAV environment and deploying the tablet client. That's still the same. You still need to understand and have a valid business case, other than, I need to use this in the airport and I don't want to get out my laptop. So there are some changes, some limitations, I should say, with in terms of what you can do in the web client and what you can do in the tablet client. These limitations aren't significant in terms of your the rights, what you can look at, etc. Like I said, they're both designed for a single window of vision into NAV, rather than, and because of that, you interact with it a little bit differently. So let me see here. So considerations and limitations. This is a screenshot of the web app. We're going to fire that up here in a minute, and I'm going to just show you a comparison of what NAV 2015 on the full Windows client looks like compared to the web app and then a version of the tablet app. And you'll see that from what Microsoft likes to call or refers to as fidelity, the way things look on your screen, it's not a scaled down offering. The role center that you see, your cues, your chart parts that are showing you your dashboards into your financial data or sales data, depending on what your role in your organization is, that's going to be the same regardless of the client that you're looking at. So but again, there are some limitations from a deployment standpoint. It's not terribly involved to get these to deploy the web client and the tablet client once you've got your base NAV configuration up and running. But that does depend on where your NAV environment is. Certainly, having it hosted on Azure makes it real easy to create a couple endpoints. Allow the data through, turn on the services. But if you're doing that within your own environment and you've got on-premises hardware, you've got to configure those. You've got to open those ports on your firewall. So it's a little bit more involved from that standpoint. So the tablet edition, this is shown here on an iPad mini. Again, a nice clean interface that is, that's optimized for the device that you're using it on. And so I think, with that being said, I'm going to try to get out of here. And let's see, I'm going to launch. Let's see if I can switch screens here without breaking anything. I'll just wait for that screen to refresh. So this is my desktop, the desktop of my laptop computer. I'm going to tell it that I want to run, and and the reason I'm launching here to show you this is that this is actually a click-to-run installation of Dynamics NAV, and I'm going to sign in as Tom because he's off having fun at Convergence, and the fact that I continually like poking my user account means that I've got some issues with mine. So sorry about that. So I'm logging into the client. Now the click-to-run deployment method means that each time I launch the application, it's going to check with some configurations on the server, see if there's been anything updated that needs to be addressed, and it automatically each time I launch gives me a not quite a fresh install, but if there's any configuration changes, that's all being pushed to me automatically. That's only one way to do this. It isn't the only way, because of the way I use our NAV demo environment. It really makes sense for me to do it this way. It takes a little bit longer each time it launches, or I shouldn't say each time, but it takes a little bit longer than the traditional NAV client. But it's this is essentially running as a web service. It's open. Oh, and now I opened it on the different monitor, so just bear with me here. I'm going to drag this back over. All right, so this is the President's Role Center. This was pushed from a click-to-run installation of NAV 2015 that's going out to Azure and grabbing this information. You know, basically in the Role Center, I'm sure that this isn't the first time that, hopefully it's not the first time that you've seen the NAV 2015 client, but this Role Center has, you know, designed around the President, so there aren't queues, there aren't stacks of sales orders to process or quotes to deliver for salespeople or jobs to pick for a order processor or a fulfillment person. If you're the President, you want to see financial information, we're thinking. So we've just, you know, again, there are dozens of ways to configure these role centers depending on the role. This one's got a chart here for financial performance, over here cash flow, and then sales performance. You can put whatever you need to on here. There's a tie-in here to Outlook, so down here it's pulling information from the Outlook on my local machine. But again, you know, this is NAV 2015. You can click into, let's say you want to look at a customer list that is showed up in the pane here on the left, so you know, one click and you've got access to all your customers. So this is what NAV 2015 full NAV client looks like. I will go back to the Role Center here, and then let's see. I think the next thing that I'd like to show is the web client. So I'm going to let's see here, drag this window over. So this is Internet Explorer running on Windows 8.1, and I'm going to click through and just launch the web client. Again, I've got that pinned as a shortcut, so I'm going to sign in with the same credentials that I used to sign in to my full NAV client. This is all configured from a in security, etc. You can make this as easy or as difficult to get into as possible. But in terms of your password policies, password expiration, etc., that's all fully configurable. So now you'll see this is rendering on. And to be honest, I think this screen is a little bit prohibitive, so I'm going to actually switch to one of my bigger monitors. I'm going to wait for that to refresh, and then I'm just going to drag this over. So this is the web client, and just for comparison purposes, I'm going to drag. This is the full client. So you start to see. I've got this shrunk down, obviously, but this is exactly the same. So there are some parts missing. The default Role Center down here, if you remember, on the full client was my Microsoft Outlook integrated. The web client is not configured to support that sort of integration. If you're on a web client, you don't want that tied in to your Outlook in that way. So because, you know, let's say that you were, in the rare case of something I might do, maybe you drop your laptop when you're on the road and it's busted and you're out of luck, but you're at a hotel that's got a business center, so you go in there, launch this, you know, we've got this deployed. If you look up here in the browser, we've got it's nav2015.abc-demo.com. Whatever you want to configure that, if you want it to make sense to your end users, if you want to make it highly cryptic and just have a bunch of letters and numbers that are random, so no one's ever going to guess it. That's completely up to you, because all of that is configurable by you as the end user. But in that scenario that you don't have your laptop, you type this in a web browser and boom, here you are, and you've got access to everything you need. Certainly in that scenario, you don't want to run, you don't want to tie into the mail account that is on that local machine. So this is designed to be a more portable version of NAV. The drawback is that you don't have the same integration. So, but again, everything is the same. This is all live NAV data, just like in the full client. When you click into any of these bars to find out where these numbers are coming from, it's all clickable. It's all live. This is, you know, for instance, if you want to find out about where these are coming from, clicking in here gives you the cash flow forecast entry screen. Now, again, I can't do anything behind this screen because this is the web client, and it is, and I can only work one screen at a time in this scenario. But verify what I need to, close this, and I'm back to the Roll Center. You know, if you remember, I pulled up the customer list on the Windows client. Again, the same shortcuts are here in the left. I click on that, and the customer list shows up. Same sort of details over here. Everything you need to know as we scroll through this list here. The customer statistics and sales history are flowing right along with it. So exactly the same way as the Windows client works. So so this is the web client. Get back to the Roll Center. And there you have it. So again, virtually identical, subtle changes in some limitations in terms of how you interact with it, but really a really robust web client. And some users have asked, you know, well, what is it better to have? It's better to have a web client. How does the web client you know, from a performance standpoint, can you have users that only run the web client? Maybe not for your most robust users and the ones that are crunching the most data, but essentially, you know, web services has does everything you need it to do in terms of accessing the data. It's relying on server resources to render these screens back to you, so it's not using local machine performance at all, where the traditional Windows client's a little more susceptible to performance issues on the client hardware. The web client is completely relying on end server sort of performance. So it's a more unified experience, I guess, for users is the best way to say it. So that is the web client. And now what I'm going to do is share my screen to get to a tablet client, and this might be a little bit. Let's see. This might be a little bit tricky, but let me try this. Earlier, this is what broke my machine, so everyone be warned. Mostly that means you, Abby. And I saved this for last. So I'm going to actually attempt to share my Windows here. All right, so let's get back to my main screen. All right, I'm going to we'll give it 30 more seconds here. All right. Okay, so I am projecting here from my Windows. So this is my Windows phone running the tablet client. I've got and maybe this screen makes you crazy, but this is my home screen, and if you look, I'm clicking right here. This is NAV, so I'm just going to tap on that, and that's going to launch. It's going to render. Essentially the tablet client is running on same sort of. It's connecting to a remote web site address. If you look in the bottom, you will see that it is the same environment, but and again, certainly not optimized for. I wouldn't want to live in this environment when I am entering in a lot of data, but for those that that need it, this is now I can. So again, this is if I turn this, I don't believe my screen. Oh, look at that! It does rotate. So this is exactly the same. Again, the Outlook that's normally down in this section right here is missing, but otherwise the charts are identical. I can zoom in as necessary, and it's just showing my pinch there. It'll re-render, but essentially this gives me everything I need to. And I mean, I don't know how many times it's happened to you, but needing some information from NAV, and having your phone in your pocket and being able to just go in there and get into let's see here. I'll just click on the customer list to bring that up. Lists, I like to rotate my phone vertically since that's the way most of these lists are generated, and again zooming in to show you that I can pull up customer list. I can go in and check their sales history. These blue numbers over here, all hyperlinks, so I can get into the I can click that hyperlink, open up the customer card. Again, it's not optimized from a screen standpoint, but if there's something, if you need to change, you need to get in and verify a past due balance. All of this can be done from this client. So this is the. I had hoped to show the iPad client. Again, it looks identical to this. I had a little bit of a snafu there, so that didn't work. So I think, let me see here. I'm going to close this again because it's a tablet / web client. I can only look at one window at a time, but one click there gets me back to the Roll Center, and I'm back in business. So I think, let me just verify. I think that is what I had to show you today. Would have had to show you the iPad client, but I'll work on that for next time. So Abby, do we? This would be, I guess, the time that I would open it up for questions. Does anyone have any questions?
We do already have a question, Jeff. Does each session require a NAV license?
Let's see. It is licensed by the user. So I am logged in. I'm logged in 3 different ways here. But I'm only using one user account, so the license, so I'm only using up one license, and that's something, I don't know that it's been changed because this functionality didn't exist prior, but one user, one license, multiple ways to get in, and but again, there aren't ways to, I'm logged in with the same user account, so it only counts against for one session.
Okay, our next question, is there an ability to capture a PO via a photo?
Absolutely, but not out of the box, so that would require customization. I like, that's some of the exciting things about the NAV client. There is capturing data using the camera on tablets and phones, and then being able to, so take a picture of the PO with your iPad or your phone, submit that document, so through like the Zeta Docs, that would require a little bit of a little bit of customization to accomplish that. But those are the sorts, that's a great question, those are the sort of things that really get people excited about these different client options. Anything else?
Our next question, are there different NAV clients licensed and how much do they cost?
Oh, okay. So, like, all right. From a licensing standpoint, the user count, having the correct number of users, you don't pay anything extra to for the tablet access or the web client access. So deploying it takes a little bit, in terms of setup, but not terribly much compared to a lot of other parts of a NAV implementation. So virtually any of these client options are free to purchase the or to get the client, the Microsoft official Microsoft Dynamics NAV client from the iOS or Google Play Store or the Windows App Store. It's all free, provided by Microsoft. So there's no cost at all to get these different options. And as the first question asked, it doesn't take up any more sessions, so you're not buying extra license to deploy. There's not a standard user license and a web server license or web client license. One license, the licensing model hasn't changed, and it just gets these different options to connect.
Okay, our next question, can you provide a quote or take an order via the mobile client?
Yes, absolutely. So from a functionality standpoint, I'm not signed in as in a role here, but you can, if you want to go to, let me just go from a customer. So full functionality, there's I want to, I'm just going to open this customer here. I'm sorry if you're not. So I want to create, this is the, oh goodness. Just lied because I'm sorry, I was into the full-blown client there. So now I'm into it. They're so good that they even trick me. So now I'm in the web client. Going to a customer again. I'm going to take that same customer, and let me see if I didn't click. I will just from right here on the ribbon, grab a sales quote button, and so right here I can create a quote. I'm using the web client. I could be doing this on my phone if I had really good eyes, but full functionality. So other than the fact you can only look at one screen at a time, that's about the only limitation. You can do receive payments, create orders, etc. Just as easily as you can in the full-blown client.
Okay, our next question, can a desktop client, yeah, so we've got, can a desktop, excuse me, you can hear me, Jeff, right?
Oh, yes, I can.
Yes, okay,
Yes.
Good. I was afraid my microphone was shorting out there. Can a desktop client remotely access a local company server running NAV if it has web services enabled?
That's a good question. If I understand this correctly, so you want to access, you're not on the LAN, you've got NAV deployed on premises somewhere, and you want to be able to connect to that through web services. Absolutely. If you've got the web client enabled on the back end, it doesn't matter where you are. You could be running that you could be running the web client from home or anywhere, as long as you've got a valid internet connection. So, and again, you're only running the NAV client, but it gets to there's no need to VPN or remote desktop into a different environment unless you've got those security. In some environments, there's that that trade-off of ease of access versus security. And so you want to make it as easy as possible for people that need to connect, but difficult for people that you don't want to be able to connect. So maybe I'll just verify that, Abby, if you can forward that to me, and I'll afterwards I'll just verify that I'm thinking about that correctly, and check with one of our developers to make sure that I'm not lying. But from the standpoint of connecting to anyone, if web services is deployed and the web client is enabled on the NAV server, absolutely you can connect to any NAV environment and do everything you need from the web client.
Okay, I've just got a quick follow-up to that question, Jeff, to make sure we fully understand it. The mobile client will work when you're not on the LAN. What if there is an installation of NAV off the LAN? Can that work? We aren't talking about web client, we mean the NAV client which gets installed.
Okay, so full NAV client, not on the LAN. If you want to deploy it, well, if it were deployed on I think the click to run might have some potential there, but I'm going to have to say I don't know for sure. I will have to get back to you. I think it'll work, but I want to see what's involved. So if we can get back to you on that one.
Okay, yeah, John, I'll get your information over to Jeff so that he can look into it and get a concrete answer back to you. Our next question is, what is involved in allowing access to NAV via web or tablet? Is it secure?
Yeah, absolutely. No different than access to email. It's the security policies that you implement around your NAV. Around your NAV environment, password policy, is it database authentication, Windows authentication? Essentially, it's in the back end. It's turning on these services on the NAV server, enabling them, and then enforcing policy. There are people, organizations that say, that's crazy. What happens when when someone's got NAV installed on their iPad and their iPad gets stolen? The fact that you require authentication every time, you disable the ability to store passwords for those clients, all mean that every time. So the good and bad in those scenarios is that the tablet client, the web client, you need to know the password to get in every time. So you're going to prevent people from caching credentials. As a best practice, you don't have to do that, but as a best practice, you're going to do that. So it is just as secure as having it on a laptop, and in order for someone to get to like in the days of only laptops, you were concerned with they needed to first log into the device, so they needed that password. Now a user may choose not to have a password, so that's not a secure. But some of those security policies you can enforce, and in some of our bring your own device discussions, it's that comes up. If you're going to bring your own device and connect to corporate email or the NAV environment, we're going to require that you implement a password and a lock screen after so long. And yeah, it gets annoying after continually entering in your code to unlock the device, but maybe that's a policy that you put in place. So it is no less secure than pretty much any other method, as long as you do stuff like require authentication every time. If people use dumb passwords that are easy to guess, maybe that's a security concern, but otherwise it's just as secure as having it on a laptop. And the good thing is that the data doesn't reside on the device. So if the device gets stolen, yes, they've got the app, and you can even tell it to forget so they have to enter in the address every time. But if the device gets lost or stolen, the company data doesn't exist on that device. It's only the access to log in, and they'd have to know the password and username to get that. So we're pretty confident in it being secure, but again, it depends on your business and how comfortable you are with those sorts of things.
All right, great. Does anyone else have any further questions? Because I'm at the end of my little list I've got submitted already. And while we're waiting just to see if anybody else has any further questions, I just want to remind everyone that by the end of the day, our recording of this webinar will be up on our website, abc-computers.com. That way, if you want to rewatch or you want anyone else in your organization to be able to see the presentation, that'll be available to you. Also, of course, we're always available with specific questions one-on-one here at ABC. I know Jeff shared his contact information, and anyone can call anytime or email him anytime. And I know if he's not available right then, he'll make himself available sometime to answer questions. Okay, Jeff, I don't have any more questions coming in, so I think that's it for now.
Great. Well, I think that's 5 minutes early, so great. Again, we appreciate everyone who had the time to join, whether it was live right now or maybe watching this. And if you've had any further questions, want to see this a little bit more, want to see it on an actual device, please reach out to us. We're happy to share with you. We're excited about the potential that the new clients give people who have invested in Dynamics NAV, and so please get a hold of us. I think that's all I've got. Abby, thank you.
Thank you, Jeff, and thank you everyone for attending.